Anindya, some uncertainty in Indonesia post-elections. Results won't be out till, in about 3 weeks now. There is concern that that could be a long, drawn-out legal battle afterwards. What's your own take on it?
I think my view, first of all, I don't think it's going to be something disruptive for economy and politics because we have seen this before. 24 agencies are doing the quick counts, and when we look at the last 10 years, standard deviation is about 1%, so not much at all. And everybody's welcome to wait until May 22, the real counting, official. But at the same time, people already know the direction, right, which is about 55-45 in favor of President Jokowi. So it is a re-election. Yes, anybody can always contest in the Constitutional Court like what has been done before, but there is a process to it, but the government has always moved on. And I think the public has already known the result. They are respectful, but at the same time, I think they have spoken.
So, continuity, stability, what should be the priorities of the next Jokowi government?
I think the next Jokowi cabinet, he will definitely focus much more on human resource, which is very important. Because in the first term, which was pretty brave, he focused a lot on infrastructure. Because he sees it clearly that the GDP, debt to GDP is only 30%. So he has a lot of fiscal space. But a lot of the critics are saying that the trickle-down effect is not really happening yet because it takes some time. You build a road, it takes 3 to 4 years. Having said that, in the second term, I think he's going to focus on human resource, focus on education, helping financial inclusion, small, medium enterprises, and those will bring basically what I call smart social populism, but at the same time, you bring good capitalism along with it. And I believe that a lot of businesses that focus on the same issues of entertainment, health, and education that cater toward these 265 million people will be quite an interesting business in the second term.
Does he have the team to push through the reforms he has in mind? Do you see cabinet changes?
I see cabinet change. I would say cabinet improvement. Please bear in mind that he's lucky this time that he would have about 66% of parliamentary support. So in the words of, I guess, a corporation is a super majority, so to speak, right? So he has the help of the parliament, but at the same time, he has to choose the right people, professional people. But I think in the second term, he wouldn't have any baggage whatsoever. He will choose whoever is right. He has mentioned to do that. And not quite sure, but I'm not surprised that the change of cabinet will happen before the November real due date for the second term.
Some say possibly by June.
Some say after, Ramadan.
Infrastructure spending is important. He's already identified a $350 billion infrastructure plan. How confident are you those projects will take off in a more accelerated pace as needed by the country?
I think I'm quite confident with that, with the plan, especially because I think in the second term, the PPP, public-private partnership, will be pushed even more. If you look at in the first term, a lot of involvement is coming from state-owned enterprises, which is good. Somebody has to lead the way. But now that you see the wind behind Indonesia macroeconomic movement, thanks to the successful election, I think the private sectors will continue to invest more on the back of this. So public-private partnership is very important. And when we say private, it's not always Indonesian private, but I think we'll be much more open to international investors, capital market, and so on.
What kind of spillover effect do you hope to see for your own businesses, for the Bakrie, which is pretty much in across industries?
Well, we are in many businesses, as you know, 77-year-old conglomerate. So I think if you look at the Indonesian economy, about 2/3 is domestic consumption. So all the businesses that have something to do with domestic consumption will definitely benefit a lot. I'm talking about the media, I'm talking about consumer goods, talking about for example something like technology. But don't forget that the natural resources will still constitute about 30% of the economy. So the mining and minerals will help. But nowadays, I think the government will push for industrialization on top of the natural resources. Because at the end of the day, the multiplication is higher. The benefits for people are higher. And I think it's going to go hand in hand with President Jokowi trying to make sure that not only he gets the support of the 55%, of the population, but the 100% really benefit economically. And that's important for country of the size of 265 million people. And I think I would take it one step ahead. I think it is important for peace and stability even in ASEAN or Southeast Asian region.
I want to touch on the media industry. VC Media posted losses last year. What are the plans for a turnaround? Are you open to perhaps selling the company or stake at least?
Well, basically, it's publicly listed companies, whether at the holding company, Viva, or the unit like MDIA. But the point here is that what is the next step, the value added or value creation after distribution using free-to-air? I think the key word is intellectual property. Right? If it is news and sport division will be very interesting, like creating your own MMA league, creating your own motor GP 150cc league. And the answer for the media is to create your own library. And, we would love one day in the future we can create our own Indonesian Marvel, because that's possible looking at the world right now. As you know, the winner of Oscar is Egyptian descent. Roma, not from Italy, but from Mexico, is one of, if not, the winner in Oscar. So all of this with the Netflix and Disney coming with Disney Plus, I think the thirst for original content will be there. And I think the indigenous or original, creativity will be much more rewarded in the future.
Can you reverse your losses anytime soon?
Yeah, because a lot of the losses actually happen because of the foreign exchange, right? We believe that, when the foreign exchange go the other way around and you can do some refinancing and so on, that can be definitely reversed. Please bear in mind that the advertising expenditure has been very slow in 2018 because people are worrisome about the election and all that. And I think now that it is behind us, the advertising expenditure will continue to grow. And bear in mind, even in the United States, right here, the television stations still constitute, 40% of the ADEX. But this is $40,000 per capita economy versus $4,000 over there. So we think, television stations or broadcasting will continue to be a good platform to reach people, 265 million people and so on. But at the same time, you have to add on additional benefits to the society in terms of entertainment or education or sports.